I'm going to share with you a couple of different examples of pace charts from our secondary courses. The first one is from last year's health science course. You can see at the top of the pace chart we have the contact information for the teacher as well as the time of V class, advisory, and office hours. And then this is an important thing to note for all of your pace charts. All of the assignments that actually need to be turned in by you will be in red font. So as you go through your pace chart and you notice that red font, those are the assignments that you are responsible for turning in for that week. So let's just kind of scroll through here. You can see on the left-hand side, it's organized by week, and it'll give you the calendar days of that week. So keep in mind, again, this was last year. So for week 1 was August 22nd to August 26th. And then you can go through this checklist on the right-hand side to see everything that will be covered in class, everything that will be due, anything that you are responsible for going into Buzz and reading. And then we also have information about assemblies, possible days off, permanent zero, temporary zero. All of that stuff is going to be built into the pace chart as well. So I'm going to actually break down week 2 just a bit because that's usually the week where you're going to start seeing more assignments for you to go on and do independently. So in week 2, from August 29th to September 2nd, the students in this course were responsible for reading Lesson 1-6 in Buzz, doing the Unit 1 critical thinking questions, doing the Unit 1 flashcards, and then they also needed to turn in those critical thinking questions, the Unit 1 quiz, and the Week 2 V-Class assignment. We had an all-school assembly on the 1st at 10 a.m. You can see that. And then it says Friday zeroing for week 2, which means that Friday, if things are not turned in, those assignments that are listed in red, if those aren't turned in, those will hit a 0 in the grade book. But fear not, we have that permanent 0 kind of buffer built in. So we actually can still make up those assignments until you hit the permanent 0 for week 2, which you can see actually happens here in week 4. It says permanent zeroing for weeks 2 and 3. So when we hit those permanent zeros, go off of the pace chart, it'll tell you what day that's going to happen. Happens on like a Sunday night, Monday morning kind of scenario. And if the assignments from those listed weeks are not completed by then, they're going to hit permanent 0, and then we don't have the chance to redo those anymore. So you'll notice every single week you'll have that purple Friday zeroing for week 3. Those are going to be your temporary zeros. Those are not, like, don't hit the panic button. You can still get those assignments turned in over the weekend or even the following week. Just try not to let yourself get too behind. I'm going to scroll through here a little bit more so you can see kind of the different things that are going to be on your pace charts. Realize you'll have one of these for every single class. These work as a checklist for you. They're things that you can add to your personal calendar. We recommend that you print them off and put them in your notebook with the notes that you take for your courses. When I scroll through, you'll notice like on week 14, that's Thanksgiving break, so there's no new assignments, but notice there is still permanent zeroing that happens. That means that throughout Thanksgiving break, you won't have anything new to work on, but you do need to make sure that you have your week 12 and week 13 assignments completely done, because those will hit permanent 0 on November 27th. Some other things from this pace chart that stick out to me, like on week 15, you can see that's the start of Unit 10, Informatics and Technology. So you can see that the topics are also listed within this pace chart. You'll also see in week 17, since this is a high school course, that is final exam week, and so that the high school students will be taking final exams that week, and so there won't actually be live classes for those high school students, so they have time to take those courses. But if it was a middle school class, you would see regular assignments and meeting times and all of that. Let's look at another example. This is the Algebra 2 pace chart from last year as well, from 2022. Again, the contact information for the teacher is given at the top, the V-class times, office hours, and this is the same formatting as the last one. Anything that is going to be graded will be in red font. Notice that in week 2, where the content's really underway, it says that the students need to actively read 1.01 rational exponents and actively read 1.02 properties of rational exponents. So that is something that we will personally look for in your activity log in your course. Did you go through those reading assignments? So you'll want to make sure that you're going through the reading assignments as well as attending your live V classes prior to doing the assignments and turning in the work. So if you look at week 2 for this particular course, students are responsible for completing the V-class assignment. That needs turned in. Actively reading, that's nothing to turn in. That's just your task of the week. Complete 1.01 rational exponents assignment. Again, that is something that's going to be turned in and graded. Actively read 1.02 properties of rational exponents. Again, that's your task. And then complete 1.02 properties of rational exponents assignment, and you'll turn that in for a grade. Anything that does not get turned in by that Friday will hit that temporary 0 I was speaking of earlier, but it won't permanent 0 again until week 4, where it says permanent 0ing for weeks 2 and 3 on September 18th. If you have any questions about your specific PACE charts, when you are able to go in and print them out for all of your courses and give them a glance, feel free to reach out to your teachers independently.